Stop losing track of important tasks in your voice journal entries. If you're recording voice journal entries with my SmartJournal and you're mentioning action items that you need to do, those might be getting lost if you don't have a system for extracting them. Today, I'm sharing my SmartJournal upgrade that automatically pulls tasks out of your daily entries and adds them to your task database. This one Notion AI agent can transform how you manage your productivity workflow. Here's exactly what you need to set it up. All right, we're back in Notion today, and I have loved doing the product videos that I've been doing, and more of those are going to be coming. I have so many toolbox ideas that I really think this is going to become a pretty full series of videos, so expect more of those in the future. But for today, I had an idea that I wanted to implement for myself in SmartJournal, and I haven't even done it yet. I've set up a couple of the things so that we can build it together on this video, but you're getting a live test because I haven't fully tested this myself. I figured, why not build it on camera? So we're in SmartJournal right now. If you want to get this, you can go to careerefficiency.com/journal and you can download it. I have a new pay what you want model in place. So if you find any of my videos useful and you want to download one of my templates, you can still get the free versions. But if you're on that page, it'll prompt you to either select one of the predetermined prices or to enter your own. Even a couple dollars is really, really helpful in keeping this channel going. And I greatly appreciate anytime someone purchases a template from me. So if you have a couple extra dollars and you're willing to contribute to this channel, that is greatly appreciated. Again, you can get this download at careerefficiency.com/journal. Also, I'm going to mention here at the top, we're going to build a very simple task manager into SmartJournal, but you absolutely can link this to Task Manager Pro. So if you want to watch the video on Task Manager Pro, I'll put that video link on the screen. And if you want to download that, you can go to careerefficiency.com/to-do and get my Task Manager Pro. You absolutely can link those, and I'll show you how to do that when we get this going. Let's jump in. I have the SmartJournal homepage here. This is what you'll get when you first download the overall template from me. We're going to work on SmartJournal 2.0. I actually updated the branding and things. This is the latest version that we built in the latest YouTube video, and we're going to expand on this now. So I'm going to open this. If you download this, I would recommend probably just sticking with this, but I wanted to leave the 1.0 version in case folks were watching that old video. That way they could still get to it. So this is where we left it in our last video, with the exception of a couple things. The database itself is pretty much the same. I've added a new AI prompt called Task Extract, and we'll get to that in just a sec. And I've also created this 2-column layout. So it's pretty much the same apart from those minor things. Just as a reminder from the last video, all the entries here are fully AI generated. I have a version that I use in my real life, but this one for demo purposes is all AI generated. This morning in prep, I told AI, go through and add some tasks into the transcripts. Let's actually take a look. I think I spotted it in one of these. Yeah, it dropped some tasks down here. Write and schedule next week's deep work block. Send a short check-in message to a friend about energy and expectations. They're very generic, but they're tasks nonetheless. And what my hope is that we're going to use this AI prompt, the Notion AI agent, to scan through the database and pull that stuff out and put them in a task database so that they're easy to get to. We're going to build it in SmartJournal, but as I mentioned, you'll be able to set this up with Task Manager Pro if you want. Let's first jump into the Task Extract prompt so that we can discuss this, and then we'll build it based on the specs from the prompt. So this one is pretty simple, but basically what it says is, starting with the most recent journal entry in journal database, this is where you'll want to link your journal. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to type at entries database, which is the name of the database in SmartJournal. That'll actually leave because it should come through in the template. But what you'll want to make sure you do is update the task database if you're going to change it to Task Manager Pro. We will fix this here to link it to the task database we're going to build in a sec. But if you want to change it, this is where you would do so. You would delete the database reference that is right here. It's not there yet, but it will be. And then you'd replace it with whatever task database you want to set it up, such as Task Manager Pro. Then it says, starting with the most recent journal entry, scan the full text for clear, actionable items. For each action item you find, create a new task in the database. After processing it, we're going to add a new field to SmartJournal called Task Extracted, and it's just a checkbox field. And this AI prompt, as it scans through, once it's done extracting the tasks, it will check that box. So as you're creating new entries, it will start from the most recent, which theoretically would have no checkbox on it. It will scan through each one until it detects that there's a checkbox, and then it will stop. So as it says here, continue to the next most recent entry that does not have a task extracted checkbox. Stop processing when you reach the first entry that already has tasks extracted checked. If I were to structure these instructions, I actually use AI to build some of this prompt. It's very meta of me. If I wanted to be a little clearer, I might say at the top of the instruction, starting with the most recent journal entry, In fact, let's just update it. Starting with the most recent journal entry in the entries database, confirm whether the tasks is set to true. If it is, stop. Otherwise, scan the entry's full text for clear actionable items. For each action item you find, create a new task, blah, blah, blah. That way it knows explicitly. I think the AI would have been smart enough, but this way it says, if the checkbox is already set to true, just stop. Meaning, don't continue once you find a checkbox. It means the tasks have already been extracted. We don't want duplicates. Then it gives some operational guidance, which is to treat an action item as something a single person can do. If the entry contains projects or tags, set them when clearly inferable, do not guess. We're going to add a tags field, and I'm going to let the AI do its thing. I don't exactly know what all the tasks are and what it will do, but we're going to find out. We'll see together. Do not create duplicate tasks is basically what the next one says. And then avoid non-actions such as reflections, questions, blah, blah, blah. And then it gives a format. This is where if you wanted to add your own custom fields, like if you wanted to add a due date field or something like that, you could, and you would specifically tell it in those two sections, in the operational guidance and then in the format, add the details for that field if they're found. And then the audiences for a solo creator's daily workflow should be minimal, consistent, so tasks are immediately usable without additional editing, which is super helpful. Okay, let's go back.
Oh my God.
So we have our AI prompt, and we're going to add a task source to this database. And we're going to add a new source to this. It's a new full data source, and we're going to call it tasks. We'll say new empty data source. We'll show the title, and we'll give it a title here. Call it task database. And then we can hide the source title and then rename the view to tasks. And I will give it a check mark. Actually, it's right there, a check mark icon. Cool. All right, so then we'll call this field task. That's the main property. We're going to add our URL field, and we'll call this source. And then we'll add a text field, and we'll call this notes. And then we'll add a multi-select, and we'll call this tags. And the other icons were good, but this one we're going to change to, we got the tag right here. And we'll see what the AI does. Then we want to make sure we come back here and create the new property, which is a checkbox, and we're going to call this tasks extracted. Now, theoretically, we wouldn't need to see this all the time. We could probably hide this property for regular use, but I'm going to leave it here so that way we can see as we're testing how it works. I believe the last setup item we have to do is go back to the AI prompt. I opened it in this new tab, and we just need to set the task database. Again, remember to do this. If you're going to change it from the one I'm linking to right now, when you download the template, it will be linked to the task database that's there. But remember, if you want to use Task Manager Pro, then you need to come here and update this. So we're going to delete the entry that's here, and we're going to say tasks database, and that would be the one, I believe. Let's just double check it. We'll click into it and see, yep, that's the correct one. Cool, we can close out of that. We don't need that tab anymore. And I think we should be ready to go. So we'll just open the AI window. I'm going to open this in the sidebar just because it's a little easier to see. And then we'll leave the edits on. That's a new feature since the last time I recorded about agents. They've added this option. So we want to make sure that it can edit. And all we should have to do is reference AI task extract here and say, maybe we can tell it execute the steps in AI task extract. And that should be all we have to do. So I'm going to run this and we'll see it process, and then we'll see if it does the thing. At first, the primary thing that we should be able to watch is if the task extracted column gets turned on. Let's freeze this column so I can scroll that over, and we'll see if we can watch it. It should, if it does it correctly, it should loop through every entry here, and we should see it going one by one down the list as it processes. So let's see what happens. Again, I haven't tested this, so we're gonna discover this together. All right, there it goes. It's going through, it searched all the entries, and now it says processing, and I'm just gonna take a little sip of coffee while we wait. Now this is normal. I sped the video up a little bit so you don't have to sit here waiting, but it is normal for things like this that are using agentic AI to take a little bit of time. They got to process step by step. And sometimes they kind of do a bunch of processing and it sits for a while. And then all of a sudden at the end, it will just do all the edits really fast as a batch. That's a pattern I've been noticing. Another thing you can do is as it's doing stuff, when it has not this generic working, but when it says something like this, you can click it and it will tell you what it's doing. Okay, just as I said, it processed for a while and then it slammed a bunch of updates all together back to back to back to back. Okay, it says here all set, I ran it, I marked these, blah, blah, blah. I stopped where there were no new entries. And then let's flip to tasks. Now, if this worked, we should have tasks created on this database. Let's check it out. And there we go. That's exactly what happened. Schedule 10-minute inbox sweep, blah, blah, blah. And it's giving notes. Now, these aren't the most useful things. We could probably update the instructions if we wanted more useful notes, but Let's click in here and see schedule a 10-minute inbox sweep. Let's see if that is actually on this entry. It's going to open the entry, which is September 29th. Yep, schedule a 10-minute inbox sweep. That was added by AI earlier, but that is exactly a task that was in the list. So now I have this list of tasks, and you could either just leave them here in SmartJournal and work from this task database, or you could manually move them somewhere else, or you could use Task Manager Pro. And in fact, let me quickly show you. We'll open the sidebar and we'll come to query efficiency. We could have the AI enter the tasks simply by updating that database reference. We could have it enter those tasks here, and then it could respect the things that are here in Task Manager Pro. So you'd have things like the quick set today, the quick set not today, the snoozing, all of that stuff. I think that's really, really powerful. I did notice that it didn't set any tags, and that might be because there aren't any there. You possibly could tell the AI to generate new tags where it finds appropriate, and it could enter new properties in that field. So if that was something that was more useful, you could. Also in Task Manager Pro, there's an area, so you could say personal or work, or you could set up whatever areas, and it probably would be able to figure those things out. You might still need to do a little bit of manual processing, but I do think that this is incredibly powerful for just being able to talk to a journal and extract things. And you could use this concept without journaling. You could just do a brain dump voice memo and have AI using that exact prompt extract all the tasks. I will also say that Notion's AI meetings feature extracts tasks, but this is nice because then they can end up in a centralized task database automatically, as opposed to just living in that AI meetings block as checkboxes. The last thing I'll mention here is that the agent AI features in Notion likely require a paid plan. So if you don't have that, you might need it depending on what sort of plan you're on. So just be aware of that. If you are going to sign up for a Notion plan, you can go to queryefficiency.com/Notion and sign up with my link. I'm sure you're familiar with affiliate links, but just in case, it doesn't cost you a penny extra, but it does help support this channel by sending a cut over to me. So if you are going to sign up for Notion for a paid plan, love you to use my link. Again, it doesn't cost you a penny extra. It just helps me out a little bit.
You did it.
Alrighty, that's all I've got for you today. If you've been liking the framing of the tiny problem at the beginning, I really like that. And if you've been liking that, definitely let me know in the comments. And if you have any tiny problems that you'd like me to consider solving for you, would love to do that. This whole channel is based on solving tiny problems, so I would love that. So now that you've learned to extract tasks from your journal entries, if you'd like to learn how to build SmartJournal, I've got a video on that. I'll walk you through step-by-step building the entire thing. SmartJournal is great because it requires absolutely no typing and it can fit into your daily workflow. And I've been doing my journaling entries for months now without really missing any time. And it's a great way of documenting your life and processing your thoughts and preparing for therapy if you have a therapist. All those things are really great. So if you want to watch that video, it'll be on your screen right now.